Hi, I'm Diane Dayton. We're at the 20th Annual VF Outlet Berks Jazz Fest in Reading, Pennsylvania. Right now, we're sitting down with Tuck and Patti. Thanks so much for taking time with us.
Thanks for inviting us.
Hey, it all started, at an audition in San Francisco, in the early 80s?
78.
78.
78, even before
78.
that. The two of you met. What happened?
Well,
tell it?
yeah, Patti showed up at an audition. Well, we were a band that was really a pretty unsuccessful band trying to find a great singer to bail us out. And so Patti showed up one day to audition. And who knows about the details, but we went away from that audition, both Patti and me, knowing that we'd found a lifetime collaborator. Within just a few seconds of playing music together, we both knew when we compared notes later that we had found that person that we would play with for the rest of our lives. We didn't know we would ultimately get married and so forth, and we had no idea in what situation, but we knew we'd found our partners.
Wow. How did that feel for you, Patti?
Do you always have your radar open for that as a musician, people that are simpatico? So it was just really just one of those moments. I was like, wow, this is it.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to happen or how it will play out, but I know we are going to play together. And it'll be for a long time. It was just one of those moments.
It was a moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, counted off my tune. And I really shouldn't have even taken it because it was supposed to be like a club band, a Vegas club band kind of audition. And so the chart I hand out was a Horace Silver tune, Out of the Night Came You, and hand out my charts, and Tuck started playing, and that was it.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, love.
That was it too.
Yeah, that was it too.
That was
and
it
you just
too.
knew.
Yeah.
You just knew. But you have always been singing, so you were told, even when you were very, very little.
I just love to sing, and I knew it. I mean, our family obviously wanted us to go to college and be doctors and lawyers and all that stuff, and so I knew you're not supposed to talk about it. But about five or six was the time that I knew that that's what I was going to do.
Okay. And your sister was playing piano.
Yeah, my sister and my father both were non-professional piano players, so I grew up hearing piano and sort of crawling around on the floor, expressively listening to her play the piano, and so naturally I followed in her footsteps and started learning how to play the piano. So I played for about 7 years before I started playing guitar, which was a great thing to do.
Yeah, so what happened with guitar? I mean, you are just masterful.
Well, most of what you see me play developed from playing with Patti. I had gotten to be good as a kind of normal, what I think of as a normal guitar player, just playing. I was in and out of about 300 bands before Patti and I met, playing all different kinds of music, but you would have thought that that's a good, normal guitar player. And it was like starting over again when we started playing together, because we didn't even know we would be a duo. We just knew we wanted to play together. And we burned up some time with this band that didn't go anywhere, so we thought, okay, what are we going to do? We need to make some money while we put together our band, so let's go out and we'll just learn some songs as a duo. And all of a sudden we were out there performing as a duo, neither of us having any idea what we were doing, and just figuring it out as we went. It was really catch as catch can. And so that's a whole lot of what you see just developed on the gig, basically. I didn't know. It's just experimentation under pressure, and then I'd go home and practice, and then go back out on the next gig and see if any of what I practiced had any relevance, and it usually didn't. It's like trial by fire is the best way to learn.
Yeah, so we played a lot. We got gigs, and we just sort of created places to play.
Right.
And just played.
It's magical, the rapport that the two of you have. And you must have felt that when you first met. And you started connecting. You knew there was something, was a spark or something. How do you describe it? What is it?
We just knew that we loved playing, and that we got lost in it, and that after a while we would think, because we all have friends, we've all played with many people, and everybody would talk about that time 5 years ago when everything was just perfect and the band was all on one accord and it was really great. And we were realizing that we could sit down in the living room and be practicing and have that happen. So no matter when we were playing, we were having this just this really extraordinary and beautiful and sweet experience. So not that we didn't argue or fight or anything else or go through all the stuff regular people go through, but when it came to music, it just really would instantly, it's like we just start playing and it would be like, right, you're right there. Mm-hmm. It was like, people talk about meditation or something like that, or getting to that place, and to me it was like that. As soon as we started playing, just 100% of your energy and your attention goes to it. Mm-hmm. It's remarkable.
Well, one thing you talk about, and I can see this with you too, the foundation of love. for everything. And love in action. I mean, the love that two of you have, the love for what you do, and generally just this whole concept of love for the world and for people.
Yeah, when we first got together and realized we were going to play together, we had a conversation that literally neither of us had ever had in any other band, which was the whole band sits down and says, well, what do you want to say? Yeah. You're going to be in front of people, you're going to have their ear, they might be lost in it, so what do you want to do? And so we realized we believed exactly the same thing, and we believed the same thing should be behind the music. It's amazing to have gone essentially a career worth in all these different situations, and nobody's even talking about that.
Yeah. So what is it that you really believe?
Well, I think it's a moment off for people when they come to listen to music, but what I really believe is that we are better than we act. As a species, we are obviously better than that, and that we have gone off our track. And I think that's sort of the unrest and frustration and sadness and agony of sort of our time, that people have actually willfully gone off the path and know it all the time but don't want to deal with it. I mean, we wouldn't be in the situation we were in if we actually listened to our hearts and listened to the things we talk about. Even all of us are people who are going to church every Sunday, listening to the same thing and talking about it, but we still have a world where people are hungry and are afraid that they won't have a roof over their head and all those kinds of things that as human beings we're supposed to take care of. We've simply turned away from that. And so as a result, we now get to live in this creation of ours that we really have power to change. And I think that artists in general have this wonderful opportunity to sort of, artists or painters or writers or dancers, actors, musicians, people tend to be throwing out what could be. And I think that's why people come to concerts and cry, because it's a longing that people have, and you get it in this way through art to show it in action. And then people get to see it, and perhaps that sparks someone or wakes them, shakes them awake, and that's the big wish.
Yeah. And that's what your message is.
Aside from us just to try to play and get through it and remember the tune, and do the best we can do when we're up there doing it. Like it's all that. It's not just so grand every time we get out or that we walk out with that feeling, but it certainly is a precious gift all these years later to be able to say that for my living, I am a musician, I'm a singer, that's my living.
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing.
Well, thank you for taking time to talk with us. What we want to do right now is check out what you do on stage.
Okay.
We're coming to you from the 20th Annual VF Outlet Berks Jazz Fest in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Yesterday, I've known a foggy day, London town had me low, it had me down. I viewed the morning with alarm. The British Museum had lost its charm. How long, I wondered, could this thing last? But the age of miracles had not passed, for suddenly I saw you there, and through foggy London town the sun was shining everywhere, all around me. Hey, ba 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 dee, bid we be boo, let it be we, ba ba do bed, let it be do bed. Wow, I saw you do it, la da 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 bo de, we be bambo la da da dee, baby boo do la do la do da 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 do, ba baby do let it now, we do it, ba 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 do let it do. We do it, me, they do it, we. I saw you when I do la do ba do day, wow, ba ba we. So baby do let it, we now. Hey, do it, do ba day, do ba do we, let it, we. I saw you do ba de let it, ba da 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 day, wow, ba da we, did we, do let it, do let it, we, do let it.